Hey, welcome back. I'm excited to be back. I was under the weather for about a week, which was fun. So, sorry about that. Well, I couldn't help it, I guess. But I think it was just a little cold, so I'm still having some some symptoms of that. So if you hear that, or if I cough, then that's what's happening over here. Um, so it's February. It's February, and Puxatawny. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, Puxatawny. Phil, or should I just call you Phil for short? Is that his last name? Puxatawny. What is that? Puxatawny Phil. Well, he saw his shadow, which means, of course, 6 more weeks of winter. Punxsutawney. Punxsutawney. Is that just his name? Meaning. Okay. Oh, it's the name of the town. Oh, I didn't know that, which means town of the sandflies or town of the mosquitoes. I wouldn't want to live in that town, am I right, y'all? I wouldn't want to live there, but I always think I remember that it's the opposite of what you would usually think. Because if you think about it, if someone's seeing their shadow, then it's usually like sunny and then that means like spring. Like spring is a warm time, so you're seeing your shadow and it's like warm or whatever. But no, it's the opposite. If you see your shadow, then it's more winter. But here, that does not apply here because it was 76 degrees today, which was beautiful. It was like a beautiful thing, actually, but I just wasn't prepared, and I've been sweating all day. And the air in my car, I believe, is messed up. And I realized that today because it's the first time I've had to use the air in a long time. And I always bragged about my air. I always said, I'm actually getting cold in here because the air's... I was getting too brave with that. So, yeah, I've been going through it. I don't think I could go into the details. I don't want to bring anyone into it, but girl, I've been going through it a little bit. And the sickness on top of it just kept me from doing anything productive this past week, really, which was, that happens sometimes. So I just watched about 7 billion movies. It felt like I was just a movie fiend. And I usually am. Like, I watch movies quite a bit, but, like, that is one good thing about, like, when you really can't do anything is you're like, okay, I guess I'll just watch an entire series of a show or, like, 12 movies today. Like, I think the most I've watched, like, on a sick day is probably, like, 4 or 5. 4 or 5 movies. Oh, my goodness. What was one that stuck out? See, none of them really stick out. I watched this one that was, like, a Hillary Duff movie, and I was like, I thought I had seen every Hillary Duff piece of art that I could possibly see, but no. And it was like during her, like, era, or, like, right after she had, like, done all these movies. She had brown hair in the movie. And it was dark. It was dark. I mean, for a Hillary Duff movie. It was called, like, According to Greta or something, but I think it was, like, a pretty, like, low budget movie. But it was like, within the first 5 seconds, I was like, Hillary, girl, what are you doing? So that was interesting, seeing her in a different light. That's usually what happens, is like there'll be a girly that's like in all my favorite little like cutesy girly like fun for the family movies, and then like right after that they'll do some like random like dark indie movie, I guess because they just want to get scratch that itch or something. But like, Hillary girl, we love you. We love you. But I think she did that, and then she said, no, I'm going back to material girl. We're going to be a material girl, and we're going to do, like, Cheaper by the Dozen, too. Like, we're going to go back to the cutesy stuff because this was too much. It was too much. So, but it was very, like, Tumblr, like, angsty. I'm so sorry about that. Angsty teen moment. So, but speaking of movies, I've seen this scene from The Wedding Planner going around, like, I guess trending. That's not trending, but I've just seen it make the rounds on Reels and TikTok and all that, of this one scene of Jennifer Lopez in The Wedding Planner, where she's, of course, a wedding planner. She's single. I'd say, how old would she be in the movie? It's been a while since I've seen it. I'd say she's like, it's hard for me to guess people's ages now in like movies that I watched as a kid and thought they were so old, but now I'm like, wait, I'm probably their age. Maybe like late 20s, early 30s, probably. And she lives by herself. She's getting back to her apartment, and she opens up like she makes like a microwavable meal, and she goes and sits at her couch by herself, and she turns on Antique Roadshow. And then she's like cleaning, and she's like very particular. She's very organized and neat, and it shows her like going to bed, and she just gets into bed and she's all just like perfect and stuff, but she's like all by herself. And people were, I think it was going around because people were like, oh, I used to think this was so sad, but now it's like, this is kind of fun. This is kind of sweet. Like, this is kind of a sweet time, you know? And I was thinking, I posted it on my story, and I was like, this is so me. It's scary. Like, I had seen that scene before, but especially now, like at this particular moment, like, that's kind of me. That's me. Like, really me. And yeah, I don't think it's like a sad thing. I think it can be, because there have been like there are sad moments within that life, but at the same time, it's like kind of, it's a peaceful, I would say the word like peace and quiet is kind of how it is. But there are like other sides to it, and also like, it's just, I feel like it's just like a season. That's the word I would use. Like, it's a season in my life is how I'm thinking about it, because that's her at that time. And then Matthew McConaughey comes along and he's like, hey. And so like I don't know if she, like, when they get married, if she's like, wait, but I can't like sit and watch Antique Roadshow by myself anymore. Like, I don't know. There probably is a part of that you will miss. But then it's like, it's just a completely different life. And it did make me think about like myself and people, like so many like people that I know that have a completely different life than me now. And neither one of them is like better, but I think like taking advantage of a certain time in your life and knowing that it's not going to last forever, like a certain period or season. I feel like season is a good like word for it. A certain season of your life, like taking advantage of it and making the most of it and using the time that you would not have otherwise to your advantage. Which I'm the one talking here, like, I don't do that as much as I should, but I do think that was just a sweet little scene in that movie, which is like, whoever wrote that, they've lived it. They've lived it. They've lived it. I know. And it got me thinking about like other things. I was like, this is kind of a trope now, and there are other tropes. I could like talk about tropes forever, but there's a trope that I feel like no one really talks about, even though everyone has talked about every trope. But this was one. I think I was watching like Drake and Josh or something again, or some like kids show. And this is like pretty noticeable in like iCarly and stuff. Is the, like, what did I say? It was like fool the parents trope. So, like, especially in kids shows or like teen shows, they kind of have to make the parents like none the wiser. They kind of have to dumb them down a little bit and make them just like not knowing what they're doing, or like just kind of like, I think about like Spencer in iCarly, where he's like supposed to be like dumb or whatever, or he's not dumb, but like, you know, they kind of make him silly, goofy, and just like not really knowing what's happening. And they use that to their advantage. Like, Carly is like, y'all are living here now. Like, we are starting this web show here, when otherwise, like, other parents probably wouldn't have let them do that, if that makes sense. Or like, if they're going to a party or something at a show, they always have to get past that like parent thing if they're writing a show or something, because, you know, if they have parents at home, like, how are they going to get to this party? How are they going to throw this party? They have to be like, oh, our parents, they just won't know. Like, they'll just, they don't get it, you know? So I'm trying to think of like what exactly I saw. I guess it was like Drake and Josh too, when they had like that big party, but the parents were like gone on vacation or something, and they turn on the TV and they're having the party at home, and they're like, is that our house? Like, come on, girl. Like, y'all know. So they kind of have to like make it to where the parents are just like, but I did watch something recently where it was kind of the opposite, and the mother, it was that movie Everything that was based on that book. And I had seen it once before because I was obsessed. I was obsessed with Nick Robinson, who plays the love interest. And the mom of this girl, like, she will not let her out of her sight. She has not left her house since she was like 2 years old. And it turns out, spoiler alert if you don't want to know the ending, the mother actually just made her stay home because she didn't want her to get hurt. Like, it was basically like, it reminded me of like a Gypsy Rose kind of situation. Like, she made her think she was sick and made her stay home. But she would leave home and she would get sick, and she was like, there's no way that she's lying to me, because every time she'd like sneak out, she would get sick. But it turned out that it was just because her immune system was so bad, because she had been outside. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's cute. So I had a dentist appointment. When was it? It was a couple weeks ago now. I had written these like right after that, I guess. I went to the dentist, And I don't know what it is, like recently, like for a week leading up to the dentist, I'm like so nervous. Like I can't. But they're so nice and they're so like sweet there. But it's just something about the dentist that me acting like I'm the first person to say, I don't like the dentist. Like, no, I don't like it. But just like, I don't know. But I love the thing that I like if I'm in a situation like that, or if I'm like at the doctor or something. I love when I get the people that are like, that love talking, because it actually is distracting me. Like they're talking about their kids at school or something like that. They probably do that on purpose to like help you feel better. But I love that because I have experienced both sides of it, where like I've been at the doctor and it was this man. I always just feel more comfortable if it's like a woman, first of all, but it was this man and he was like, I'm going to take your blood, so you need to lay down because you might pass out. Like, I think you're going to pass out. Before he even like did anything, I was like, sir, you're going to freak me out. That's not okay. He's like, you're going to pass out. I think you're going to pass out. You need to lay down. Okay. No, not doing it. Not doing it. So, I don't know. I guess I'm just sensitive, but it went well though. It was just one of those things that you have to do that's kind of annoying. And I've also I've been filming this YouTube video. I had to pause it for a week or so, but I'm finishing it up tonight, actually. Yeah, I've been doing some jewel art. This is like I guess the video won't be out at this point because this is coming out before that video. So, spoiler alert, I'm doing like this jewel art thing where you like stick on each individual jewel and it makes a pretty picture. And this one had like 10,000 pieces to it or something, like wild like that. Like my body was sore. I was like doing it like all day every day for a few days, and like my body was getting sore. My arms were sore. Just my whole body was so tense, I guess. But it was really fun, and I think it's gonna turn out great. Like I'm almost done with it, and I don't really know how you like display something like that. I guess you can just stick it to the wall or something. But yeah, that was really fun. I know it would be more fun if I had just like taken my time and done it at a like leisurely pace, but no, I was like, you know what, no, because I had done that before with making like a rug, and that was the whole thing too. But it turned out really cute, and I'm glad I did it. But it was just like, I'll take something that's supposed to be relaxing and like fun and just make it into like, I need to get this done in 3 days when it's like 10,000 pieces and spend my entire life doing it. Hold on a second. Oh, I was going to look this up. Nick Jonas, like, what is he up to? I saw this video on TikTok of him singing. It was like I sent it in a group chat. That's where I'll find it. You know how I said last week that I was going to miss group chats on TikTok? Now I don't have to miss it because TikTok was gone for like 14 hours. Nick Jonas, he was on Broadway for Les Miserables. I didn't know that. I don't know Les Miserables like that well, so I didn't even know that was for this. But he looks younger, but he was made for Broadway. Why is I keep saying, why is no one talking about? Everyone's talking about this because it went viral. Hashtag viral. Listen to Nick Jonas singing empty chairs at empty tables on Broadway on TikTok while I drink something. Their captions. That's Nick Jonas. I did not know that he would do that, or that he could do that. And I'd be like, you know, your quintessential Nick Jonas singing. But I was like, why is he not on Broadway? Like, he's not utilizing this. What's he doing? Like, I don't really know what else to say about it, but like, I was like, in the group chat, I was like, if I was like 12 and saw this, like, I would have had to go to the hospital. Like, I would not have been okay. But he was born for Broadway. You know, Nick Jonas, like, and I also saw that Baz Luhrmann, is that his name? Not Berman. Baz Luhrmann, the director of the Elvis movie. There's something else coming out like this summer, I guess. And it's going to be like all this behind the scenes Elvis stuff. I don't know if it's going to be like in theaters, but I hope it is. Because I feel like we need another Elvis summer. We need that, the Elvis summer. See, I'm not usually on board. Like, I'm usually behind on stuff. Like, Brat Summer, I was still listening to her last album. Like, I was still listening to Crash all summer, and I didn't even listen to Brat. I'm just like behind a few years usually. But when it came to Elvis Summer, I was like, we're going to the movies 4 times. We're packing the house in this movie theater. I don't know, it was something special. Just the Austin Butler, it was just great. And even with like, I guess it was Brat Summer this past summer. But just with like big stuff like that, like I just am never on board at the right time. Like, I'm always late. Excuse me. But it brought us all together. Just like, I don't know. I feel like they need to bring it back to theaters as well. But Austin Butler, he was getting hate for that and for The Voice. But I feel like the ones of us that really know Austin Butler, like we truly know him, we know that he was not putting on that voice. I mean, he did a little bit. Of course, he had to, because Elvis had a very specific sounding voice. But Austin Butler always had that little rasp in his voice. We all knew that. Like, when I was recently watching some episodes of the Carrie Diaries with Austin Butler, he sounded the same. Like, there were moments where he was like, so what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, mama? He didn't say mama, but there was like a moment that I filmed and I was like, this sounds like Austin Butler. It does. And he's just always sounded like that. He's always kind of been that, like, he's the entire, I don't know, I had already seen Carrie Diaries, so I was like rewatching it, and he just serves like, he knows what the girlies want, and he just like serves face. He puts on that voice, and he's just like, you know what, I'm here to just be the cute boy and like just say hey. So I feel like he was just always like that. He was always like that. And I feel like he got his feelings hurt. I hope he didn't get his feelings hurt. And maybe there'll be an Elvis 2. What would they do in Elvis 2? Like, they did it his entire life. Or they could do like, because I think they deleted a bunch of, not deleted, but they took out a bunch of footage. So they could just do like the director's cut and make it like 4 hours long, because it was already like 3 hours, maybe five for me. But I just feel like that would be beautiful. But Austin Butler, he is cinema. Oh, and the Super Bowl's coming up. And so I've been watching more like football sometimes. I haven't watched as much as I have in the past. There was like someone skirting outside. But though what I do want to watch, I don't have Paramount Plus, but I would like to get it for the specific reason of watching Nickelodeon NFL games. I'm pretty sure it's on Paramount Plus, where I think they like actually show the entire game live, but it's, SpongeBob, Patrick, and then like an actual like commentator, like commentating the entire game, which is so funny. Like, they have the guys that are the voices of SpongeBob and Patrick sitting there, like, riffing during a football game. But then they'll have these little, like, pop-ups from, like, Dora, like, Sandy, and they'll, like, teach you stuff about football. And I feel like it could be, like, a helpful thing for me to watch, too. But there was this one clip, and it was like, we need to help him find the end zone. And it was Dora. Like, actually, they're, like, pretty savage on there. Like, they will, if those football players see that, they're going to try to get that off. Like, they're going to try to get it off of there. Or they're going to buy them out or something. But I think those would be fun to watch. Oh, I was talking to my niece the other day, and I was like, yeah, something. And every time I talk to like a younger person, I will have these moments where I'm like, we're not on, like, where my millennial side comes out. Like, my millennial, like, Gen Z. See, Gen Z is almost old now to people. Like, to kids now, they're like, you're Gen Z. Like, you. Like, it's, every time I'll, like, say something that I think is, like, hip with the, with the kids. And it's just like, nah, it's not. It's hot in here as well because it's 76 degrees outside. And I'm wearing a hoodie. But I said something about like, oh yeah, like they were taking a picture with duck lips. And she was like, what are duck lips? And I had to take a moment. I was like, oh, hi, what are duck lips? Okay. And I said, it's like where you like pout your lips. Like, that's like the duck lip. Like, we used to do like duck lip, like peace sign, like that. Duck lips. No idea. So, I was thinking about other things that like we said that doesn't seem that long ago, but like even if it was 10 years ago, the kids now have never heard it because they were maybe not even born yet or they were babies. So they're not like on fleek. They don't know what that means. Like if I say, "Whoa, girl, like your eyebrows are on fleek," they'd be like, "What's on fleek? Like what are you talking about?" That's kind of crazy. Um and like awesome sauce, that's going further back. Like awesome sauce, like there was one saying that was like just dinosaurs in general were like, well, like dinosaurs, I don't know, like Pixar, they probably don't even know what Pixar is, but it was making me think like that was my moment of like that clip where Finn Wolfhard, he was like doing some interview for something, and he was next to this kid who was, I guess, another actor, like a child actor, and he was like, yeah, you know, One Direction or something. And the girl's like, who's that? And he goes, oh, you don't know who One Direction is? Okay. And then he like takes a second. He's like, you don't know who One Direction is? And she's like, no. Like she looks so confused. It's like, I'm realizing how my parents feel now. Like they'll say a random person that was really popular. Like my parents were talking about like actors on Happy Days and like they remember their names and stuff. And I'm like, it's just like, unless I like go back, and I do sometimes, especially with like movies and stuff, like I will learn people's names and like learn more about them and watch movies with them in it. But if you don't like take the time to like go back and like learn who these people were, like what the pop culture was like in certain eras, then like there's no way that you could know. Like they don't know, but it's just like second nature to you. But these other people don't know. Like it's crazy stuff. Like I just thought everyone knew what duck lips meant. Like duck lips was just duck lips. Like how do you even? There's no way. There's no way. But that I was talking about this today, that one of my, this is like the same thing as that. I'm doing the same thing that I say is one of my pet peeves, as I always do. But I was talking about like I've been dealing with like people on the phone and stuff a lot recently, and it's one of my pet peeves, and I know it's probably hard for them to like deal with me too. Like I'm probably just like so annoying to them. But like people that it's their job to do a certain thing, they are like a pro at a certain thing. Like say you work at like a bank and you know everything there is about banking, and you just know like you know what a 401k is, you know how to invest, you know all this. This person walking off the street into the bank asking for a 401k or whatever that has no idea what that means is going to be so annoying to that person. I know, like, but like it's, I guess it's your job to like teach them about it, certain people's jobs. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the people that like that's all you know and you are just a pro at it, and then when someone asks for help or you're like talking to them and they're giving you a service or whatever, and they're asking you questions like you should know, like how do you not know this? It's kind of like teachers. I think I talked about this literally last week. I don't know. Maybe I've already talked about this on this podcast, even though we're like 4 episodes in. But it's like a teacher that gives you homework and they act like they're the only teacher that is giving you this homework, but you have 8 other teachers, but they're like, this is easy. Like, you should have time to do this easy homework that I gave you. Like, I've been teaching this for 10 years and I know exactly what all of this is, but you, and so should you. Like, they expect you to know. I don't know. Like, when I get asked certain questions that I don't know about, it frustrates me when they're like, how do you not know this? And I'm like, where was I supposed to learn this? Am I supposed to like do research? Probably. I'm probably in the wrong here. It's okay. But yeah, I try to think about, like, with me, I guess because I know that it like bothers me when other people are like that, or like kind of condescending, treat me like I'm dumb or something. That's like one of my least favorite things. Like, it just makes me feel so awful. That I try my best to not do that to other people, but I'm not really an expert at it. There's not really anything I'm like, oh, I know everything there is to know about this. But I try my best to like not make other people feel like that. So I don't know if I do, but that's an existential thing to think about tonight. And my downstairs neighbor is yelling again. I wonder if y'all can hear that. Maybe let me know what they're saying if you can understand it. Okay, well, thanks for joining me again. I've missed you, and I'll see you next time. You can, I'm about to go talk on my Patreon if you want to go listen to that too. I do like little bonus episodes on there, so if you want to listen to me talk about micro trends and stuff like that, then go over there. But otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.